Okay, with some clarifiers, you have the King of Cups in reverse, the Death card on the Ace of Cups, and the Eight of Swords on the Magician. So here, yeah, I'm seeing there has been more of a mental focus or an intellectual focus in your love relationships instead of them being ooey gooey gushy emotional. Perhaps a lot of communication and texting, emails, messages, and trying to get at what's underneath the basis of your emotional connection with these people through the Death card, which is the card of transformation, sort of turning over the rocks and seeing what is lying beneath the foundation of your relationships to really get at the bottom of what fills you up with this person or these people. And with the Eight of Swords, which is another sword card, on the Magician, perhaps these conversations, there have been some sticking points on perhaps not seeing the relationship in the same light, or each of you having different ideas as to where you'd like to take the relationship. Perhaps one is wanting to move it forward and the other is happy how it's been going. Or say if you're single, looking at the ways that you've been approaching the dating world and trying something new. And maybe say if you have an online profile, needing to revamp that of sorts for it to reflect more of your inner emotional nature instead of coming at it trying to impress people with words or success or things that you've been doing, coming at it from a more soft and receptive and feminine viewpoint. So I hope that made sense. I'm moving on to the current energies for February. Ooh la la, the Sun, the Emperor in reverse, and the Devil. I'll show these cards for you up close. There's a baby. Emperor in reverse. Not taking such a high and mighty position. And the Devil, card of temptation, addictions, lust, passion, jealousy. I'm going to open these cards up right away. The Strength. So 2 major arcana here. The Ace of Wands in reverse on the Emperor, Aquarius, and the 3 of Wands on the Devil. Okay, let's take this first. So when I get quiet, I'm just listening. So understanding that the way you approach relationships in February, again, when you want to get to this place, or this is your ultimate goal of everything working in your favor and the sun on your back and carefree and play. He's on a little pony there with his flag flying high in the air of passion, waving it around. Perhaps not coming from such, like again up here, a strong mental position, but softening up a little bit and asking people for help, not feeling like you have to do it alone in taming the beast within, but shining your light out into the world, into your relationships, not coming from it, I'm trying to put it into words, from a place of feeling like you're going to be judged if you show your true colors here. And again, this is sort of a carryover from January with the Death Transformation card on the Ace of Cups, the emotional abundance going through a transformation. I see that perhaps carrying into February. And again, with the Emperor in reverse with the Ace of Wands on it, approaching your relationships not from a stern standpoint, perhaps considering the other's point of view here. And again, we're going back to the Magician and the Eight of Swords, where when I was picking up on you perhaps having different points of view within the relationship from your partner, and taking the time to really listen to one another and remaining curious within your relationship and listening to the point where the other person feels hurt and not just waiting for your turn to speak. Because with the Three of Wands on the Devil, your best laid plans in these relationships or in the dating world, you've put them out into practice, into play, and perhaps there's going to be a reorganization of how you're approaching these divine love partnerships and what you value, what you deem as important, and what you're attracting. He's looking back at the Devil and re-examining the ships that he's already sent out to sea and waiting for the messages to come back. While those relationships are happening, and maybe the ones that are on automatic pilot, that are good, that are smooth sailing, you now have the time to circle back around to the particular relationships in your life that need a little bit more attention and some loving kindness on, and perhaps some forgiveness and healing work happening in the month of February. I know there are a couple of eclipses coming up, Aquarius, and the solar eclipse is happening in your sign. I think it's in the middle of the month. I could be wrong. So I hope that made sense. I'm moving on to moving out of. Cool. You have the Divine Lovers card. I love this card. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And the Knight of Cups. Let's see. Wow. So once you get through this time period of reevaluating how you approach relationships and what's important to you and what you're attracted to, you're going to come to clarity very quickly towards the end of February, moving into March, on what you stand for in these divine love partnerships, and really getting a solid understanding of what you're intending in your love life and what you can bring to the table from the Magician. And with the Queen of Cups on the Eight of Pentacles, you're getting back to, like I said, the softness up here, instead of it being more of a mental connection, more of an emotional connection, because the way that you're going to find out that the way that you've been working on either your dating life or approaching your current relationship, if you're coupled, you're going to start infusing in a more tangible way more romance. And from that perspective, it's going to feel like you've landed on much more solid ground in these relationships. And perhaps if you're single, there's going to be a water sign male coming in, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, to give you an honest to God offer of new love. With the matriarch card here. I'm not sure if I showed that up close. So this card reminds me of a very warm and loving, stable home environment, where she looks like she's doing something in the kitchen. I imagine her baking cookies while the grandmother is there entertaining the children in the living room, and everybody's happy to be there. It is very warm and loving and comfortable and familiar and welcome. They're not in a rush to be going anywhere, but they're welcoming in this new possibility of love, perhaps in your current relationship, that you're going to feel renewed emotional energy and perhaps a rekindling of the passion. Or again, if you're single, a water sign, either sun, moon, or rising person, I say it could be a male or a female, even though it's the night, coming into your life to offer you a type of bond that you've been looking for. Because once you get clear on exactly what you're looking for in your romantic dating life, then the possibility of it can come in. But if you're operating from a place of jealousy or insecurity or feeling lack within, which I think you're getting through that in the month of February anyhow, this wouldn't be able to be possible once you let these binding thoughts, or perhaps old ways of thinking or beliefs about how things are supposed to show up in your love life. You're going to create the space for new opportunities of love to come in. I'm going to pull an Archangel Michael card for you for a little bit more information. These are by Doreen Virtue, Archangel Michael Oracle deck. Aquarius. Thank you for watching, you guys. So happy to have you here. All right. Detach from the situation. I'll say the prayer out loud. I'll show you the There's that sword again. There's that sword. The clarity. Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachment to fear or drama, so that I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me and this situation. So that's coming back to this Devil card of this is the card of attachments, and you're going to be dealing with your unhealthy attachments in the month of February to clear the space for more peace and love and harmony and stability to come into your life. And that's such a gift, Aquarius, and a beautiful thing. So I'm happy for you.